The predictive programming coming out of that movie that was directed by Obama. And what is there? They're saying a very clean scene of a large supertanker running on ground. I'm curious if there's any relationship too that we'll find out with White Lion, something white company that owns that ship that just crashed into the bridge. Lion, if there's something, it's out of Singapore. So lions are very common in company logos and that sort of thing. First, that would be something to look at. Now, second, the money supply growth year on year is, we've only seen this a few times in history. This is one of the best charts I've found in like the last, say, 6 months. Anytime that dips incredibly low, we go into a depression. And the last time that we were at that level, as you can see, we're the end of the roaring 20s into what you consider post-recovery of that into the 1930s gold confiscation and then right before World War II breaks out, at least the U.S. involvement. 38, 39, Europe's getting into it, and then our money decreases there too. That is the last time we've seen this type of decrease. So, add that into now what they call force majeure. Is we're seeing this for the first time here. Libyan National Oil Corporation declares force majeure at the Saharan oil field. So just because of protests, they're able to say, we can't deliver and you can't contractually hold it to us. We can't be penalized because it's an act of God, force majeure. Well, what do you think this is going to be? This crashing of the ship, do you think they're going to take advantage of that force majeure? Okay, I get it. But how does that fit into we are going to have to pay off $8.9 trillion coming up for those who hold our treasury bills? Okay, now this is a national event that could definitely dent our GDP. Also with exports, cars going out of that port, that was the number one car outbound port in America, force majeure. Now we see U.S. Treasury confirming now that we're spending more on the debt than we are on the military, on the defense budget. So, that's another thing, force majeure right there. Defense budget is the largest export. Remember, going out on ship, rolling tanks, rolling these kind of heavy vehicles onto the ships. There were specifically port facilities for that. Can't deliver it, force majeure. And at the same time, can you believe it? Just even weeks ago, they stopped the emergency bank lending program, which will bail out banks that needed overnight loans so they wouldn't collapse and take the rest of the system down with them. So bank failures now that occur will not be bailed out. Now the timing of this is just quirky as all get out. A coincidence just doesn't really sum it up correctly that the timing of the removal of this backstop for full collapse of our banking system in the same month that now this black swan event had occurred is just a little bit hard to believe. And then the last thing that will take you by surprise here is they want to start including unrealized gains on anybody that owns over 100 million US in wealth. That means that if your stock went up from like $1 to $5, even if you don't sell it, you're still going to have to pay the tax on it. Well, what happens if it reverses and you end up losing money the next month or next year? Do you get a capital loss on that? I'm not sure, but this is all pushed in, right now. At the same day that all this stuff with the bridge is going on, this gets passed here where they're going to be putting unrealized gains on Americans. Anybody who owns that. So now think of the third thing. The amount of insurance on this payout is going to absolutely bankrupt the industry. The Re-Insurers I was looking at already, just for the loss of the ship alone or any of the salvage that needs to be done, $30 billion. Now that does not include the rebuild for 4 to 5 years of the entire structure. That does not include the loss of goods, and I'm sure it will. Somebody's going to claim loss. They can't leave the port for 7 months. The Fed took the punch bowl away from the party again. The stock market's been betting on March rate cuts, but not so fast. Is this why JP Morgan and UBS are calling for a 23% drop in the S&P? The recession indicator's ringing its most severe alarm in 40 years. Call the proud Americans of the Patriot Gold Group today before it's too late. Mention the Adapt 2030 channel. You're going to get some great in-class service. Also, Patriot Gold Group has a no fee for life IRA where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold or silver. No fee for life IRA on qualifying rollovers. Give them a call, 888-546-7020. And now on
with the video.
Re-insurers are going to be responsible for that. Now, it's interesting how they backstopped it and said, well, if we get a run on the bank or there's some kind of catastrophic, financial event, there's no more money to backstop our banks. Just 2 weeks ago that passed. Or was it? Yeah, that was March 11th that passed. And it was implemented. There's no more backstops. And I'm going to get this thing where there's unrealized gains on American. Now, how many force majeure clauses are going to be enacted here? Because outbound from Baltimore, that was a huge amount of cars, mainly over to like Korea and Japan, those that manufacture in the United States and then export back to their home nations. And also think about how they could use that as an excuse to not deliver battery cars anymore, electric cars, because nobody wants them. Okay, well, we can't get any more battery vehicles, or it's another way to say we can't get any more vehicles, period. We're only left with battery vehicles, so you got to buy these or not buy anything. There's a whole bunch of things on this Rubik's Cube going together here, but it's just quirky how leave the world behind with that ship where it ran aground. And then we get the ship that runs in and causes catastrophic loss. And like the insurance industry is going to need bailouts too, but with the backstops already, is that going to include the insurance industry? Because the insurance industry and banking are so tight together. You just have to ask yourself, what's going on? Now, I'm not going to come out and say anything was this, that, or the other. It's too early to really decipher what went on. Okay, let's say it was an accident for now, until more information comes out. Still, the repercussions and the ripples here, like you can clearly see how all this mixes and matches together for a devastating event for America and the globe too. Think about if you're a foreign business that owns in one of your main terminals is there, one of your main arms of your business is there doing the export. You're closed off. Like whatever that was there is just firewalled off from the world instantly. And they're looking at 7 months at the minimum before they can clear that channel out enough to get like that size vessel back in and out again. So it stops all the war machine exports of heavy goods outbound on ships. So whatever was going over to Israel or whatever was bound for Ukraine on ship just ceased. And then the goods coming in and out and the fertilizer coming in. Well, a lot of farmers have bought already and are in the process of, seasoning their fields. But fertilizer inbound, not happening this year. Going to have to go through different ports. It's really going to dent the amount of fertilizer available for us for the planting season this year, exacerbating food supply shortages at the end of the year. Obviously, you can see that's a no-brainer. And it just goes on and on. I mean, you look at this and say, man, if there was one place you could take out, where would it be that would affect so many industries? So look how this all dovetails into. This is a big event that's not being talked about. And I hope, I could get some information. Please, put some comments below. I mean, what do you think about the mashing together of the info here on, like something is catalyzing for a collapse, as I heard it called, the Black Swan. Anyway, thanks for watching. Get you some more information. Please remember to check out not only the video in Japan when we were in Kyoto about the different layers from the Younger Dryas period on up, and you can see the Younger Dryas boundary layer, and that's called Kyoto. Lost Time in Kyoto, that video. I'll put the link below for that one. And then just the Chesky Krumlov, also with the damage done to the castle. So we got different points in dates on Japan's matching up with the Chesky Krumlov, somewhere around 1550. So we got 2 points on the planet that show a massive reset, 1550-ish. So until next time, bye for now.